Something that gets said a lot in regards to the idea of the Flash getting a video game is that it can't be done because he's too fast. So it's hard to come up with a compelling gameplay for him. This is usually based around the higher end speed feats that the Flashes have had, like Wally West literally outrunning death itself by running to the end of time in Grant Morrison's run. Or famously with Barry Allen running back in time and resetting the timeline in Flashpoint. So then people on the internet will complain that if the characters aren't at these levels of speed, they feel quote unquote weak or nerfed. And I find this argument to be really stupid. Because if we're being completely honest, nobody beyond power scalers on the internet are gonna care if the characters aren't infinite layers into irrelevant speed or whatever other nonsense term people use for these things nowadays. Because even within the comics themselves, the Flashes are not written to be this fast literally 100% of the time because, different writers, the details get forgotten and, they're not constantly fighting, universal and multiversal threats. Like literally any time the Flash has lost to someone who's not on that level of speed with anywhere close to those higher end speed feats. Like there's one time one of the Flashes got defeated by Deathstroke, for instance, and he's nowhere near any of these high end Flash speeds. Writers do not view these characters in power scaling terms. Okay, they're not constantly looking up on these irrelevant speed. Well, this is a nerf. This is this is downplaying him. This is inconsistent with. They don't view them like this. Some of them do care about making sure the character feels powerful, but most of the time, no. People got to actually look at the way these feats are used in the stories themselves, because whenever these stories give them these high end feats, it's usually to mark a significant portion, like a major event in the run or storyline. It's not how they are 24/7 or 100% of the time. It just marks major victories and moments, because then before they go back to dealing with normal day-to-day threats in their lives. Okay, people need to realize that and then apply this level of thinking to a video game and making a good progression system to base that around. So that's what needs to be focused on, making sure the game has a good progression system all throughout it. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're running faster than time, right? The game should start out, you don't need to, like even in Batman games and Spider-Man games, or even better comparison, Dragon Ball games that are progression-based and not PvP, there's usually a good progression system throughout the whole thing. So while you'll start out with your basics, you keep going faster and faster, then you can have these later faster than time feats in the later parts of the game. And this is why Dragon Ball games that are progression based usually can work, because the games, they don't apply this, if we restart Goku's stats at the start of the game, he'll feel weak and nerfed and he'll be downplayed, right? No, they don't look at it like that, because they don't care about power scaling. So you know what? Every game will start you at right back at Raditz, okay? And then as the game progresses, you get more and more of the powers. You get your Super Saiyan, you get your Kaioken, you get all these extra power-ups as the game goes forward, right? And that's what the games are focused on, and that's how they work. Because then if they follow this mindset of, he has to be this powerful all the time, if you take away his power at the start of the game, Goku will feel weak. Well, then the game will be broken. It'll be pointless, because then, you'll just one-shot Raditz. You'll one-shot everybody, because if he has his end of Buu Saga strength, that's what would happen. The games fall apart if you applied this nerfed mindset to them. This same logic can be applied to the Flash if you make a Flash game just like they make Dragon Ball games. Specifically, I got a perfect example of this. Mark Waid's run. Just like with Dragon Ball, it has a progression of the Flash, he starts out progressively getting faster and faster, and he has all these threats written in there. You can follow that. It's one of, if not the most popular run on the Flash, and it can serve as the perfect basis for a video game. There's and as the run goes on, you get these faster than time feats, and you get more and more powerful giant climactic moments. And later on, and as I mentioned before, Grant Morrison's run, right? It takes place in between parts of Wade's run. So even then, if you want to include that, you can go right in and throw that in as some part in the game. Use that in there, right? All you gotta do. And then in normal day-to-day threats, Flash deals with these in this run all the time. He deals with, catching up with, basic crooks, street thugs. And then there's even a terrorist organization called Cobra that has a bunch of mooks and stuff. Just like the way in Batman Arkham Knight, he deals with the militiamen all the time. And Spider-Man in his game, he deals with similar threats. They could easily fulfill Cobra could easily fulfill a similar role in a Flash game based on Wade's run that they did in theirs. And the idea that the Flash can't deal with mooks and grunts like these are, in my opinion, more rooted in power scaling than people actually reading the stories, instead just focusing on the higher end speed feats. Because let's be real, even if we're gonna look at it like these bank robbers and street thugs, they also pose no threat to Spider-Man or Batman. Like we all know, Batman easily just throws apart these guys. In Spider-Man, they just throw apart these guys easily. Like you're never afraid Spider-Man's in actual danger when he's fighting a basic, street thug or anything. And I feel like this same logic can apply to the Flash. He deals with day-to-day threats, street thugs all the time. So you could use that too. Though one thing people do say is that I don't also quite agree with is that they should base the gameplay on Sonic games. Personally, I don't feel Sonic's gameplay style fits the Flash very much. This is very opinionated and personal. It's just it just doesn't feel right to me. But and personally, I would more take inspiration from Devil May Cry for the combat, because I'm looking at all these combos, and I love the combo system in that game. Like I love how fast these combos work and move, and I'm like, I feel like this could transfer very well to a Flash game, because with how fast all the things move around. So that's what I would go with there. People just have to stop making the lame excuse that, they're too powerful or they're too fast, and focus on reading the characters' actual stories and then applying that to a video game and basing combat around that. Because these things can work if you take the right mindset and are creative enough. And that's all I really got here. If you liked what I had to say, do me a favor by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. I've been really into the Flash lately. Like I started reading Wade's run, Jeff Johns' run, and Morrison's run, and the recent Adams run. But I'm loving like Wally West, and I'm on a real kick with that. It's so good. I'm like, if you haven't read Wade's run, I genuinely, they are not wrong when they say it is a great read. You should do it. And if you're wondering, I do have a few more ideas popping up for videos. I plan on doing a review of every Dragon Ball episode of Death Battle soon. So that's something to look out for. Special shout out and thank you to Unremarkable for helping me out with the thumbnail here. If you can do me a favor, go subscribe to him, and as a thank you for helping me out with these last two thumbnails for these two videos. But that's all I got. Thanks for listening if you made it this far. Everyone have a nice day.